The Catholic Morning Show.
Back on Iowa Catholic Radio, 45 minutes after the hour. I'm Bo Bonner with Alexia Baker, Ayden Pugh, and Brady Grimm. All of us very happy to have you with us here on Iowa Catholic Radio. Thanks for stopping by. Tomorrow we'll get a chance to hear from Father Chris Rising, of course, about the gospel. We'll hear from Mary O'Neill, and we'll have some insights about the Pope Leo Village coming up. 50 minutes away from the top of the new hour, let's finish out our day with our final guest, David Pieper. He is of Serra Club of Des Moines. David, thank you for coming into the studio today.
Yeah, thank you, and good morning, everybody.
It's wonderful to have you with us. So for people who, I think a lot of people hear Serra Club, they hear, the advertisements on air, but what is Serra Club, and what is it meant to here in the Diocese of Des Moines?
So the Serra Club of Des Moines, St. Serra Club of Des Moines, we've kind of coined that phrase, St. Serra, in there. So it makes us a little bit more recognizable than some other names. But the Serra Club of Des Moines, we sponsor and support the seminarians. We pray. We take care of a lot of things for them when they come around. We're helping them praying for them, sending them spiritual gifts and different things like that. So we're working really hard with the seminarians to help develop them into that, that religious life.
And of course, there's many ways in which the Serra clubs, right, all over the place, historically came about. But a lot of this was to say that if people wanted to do something about vocations to make sure that they're sustainable or that we begin to grow them again, the Serra clubs across the United States made a decisive intention and effort to do something about making seminary formation easier. And so that might be something, just to hear from you, is that's what you've seen in your involvement of St. Serra Club here in Des Moines, is precisely this idea of taking some of the worries off of the plate of young men discerning the priesthood and seminary so that they can focus precisely on hearing that call.
Exactly. And that's what our main focus is. And the St. Serra Club is a worldwide organization. So we're in every country almost, hopefully, but I know in the United States we have a lot of clubs throughout the whole United States. In the state of Iowa, we have two of them in the Des Moines Diocese, and then we have the 4 other ones. So we're really sitting pretty good for Iowa.
Yeah, wonderful. And, it's very timely and fitting to come and talk about that in April. Of course, there are prayer intentions that the Pope puts out every month. And so Pope Leo XIV for April made a specific one about priests in crisis. And he expanded on that a bit, and a lot of people have taken the occasion to talk precisely about what do we do for our priests? What does it mean to form them well so that when they go out into what is a difficult job, obviously a very fulfilling job for so many people, but a job nonetheless. It is a calling. It is holy. They are clergy, but they get up and they have stuff to do and they go to bed and they wake up again with that job. And, it seems to me that what a lot of people have talked about precisely in April is not just what can we do for priests currently to help them along, but to ask what is it that we can do early on as they're in seminary and in preparation-wise to help them down the line. And this seems exactly where St. Serra Club is a natural fit to talk about these issues in April.
Exactly. We have so many resources that we have at our disposal that we can help the priest when they do become a priest. And they know that they know us as they're going through the seminary process. We're starting to recognize that a lot more here the last 8 to 10 years, that the priests that are coming on know who we are. They know that what we're here to do for them. And again, those resources that we have, that we don't have to reinvent the wheel at every parish, because the St. Serra Club will have those options for them.
And I think that starts to be something that to be proud of, as it were, is for a lot of dioceses across the United States, there was just the sort of scrambling for a while of just having seminarians at all, right? To have people make it through seminary at all. As we're starting to see both, Catholic, we had a lot of new entry into the church at Easter, but as different places are starting to see perhaps a more stable group of young men considering seminary, going through to ordination, it seems like this is a good time to ask, well, what do we do to do it even better? How do we take the influx of seminarians and ask what's the best way to support them through the process so that they can be that light of the consecrated priesthood in the parishes after they're consecrated. And just wondering if you've seen that sort of shift also, is that we're being able to take maybe a step or two back and go, what is the best way to support everybody?
Exactly. And that's, us as the Serra Club, we do sponsor the priest. We have the Priest Appreciation Picnic during Priest Appreciation Week. We try to make that always happen. It always happens down at Walnut Woods. Very well attended by our members. Very well attended by the priest. And that's a testament to what the bishop really wanted us to do for that. He likes that event. That was one of his first events that he attended when he got here. So it's always a nice one to have. But we continue that into the parish. We want to have a Serra member at each parish there to support them, there to know that what these resources are there for the priest to reach out to. If it's trying to get recognizing somebody that could be a priest. How do we further that along, and how do we help facilitate that? And we have those resources.
Well, for you yourself and your story, so how long ago was it that you got involved with St. Serra Club, and what appealed to you, and how is this, maybe if people are hearing on the radio now and interested about being a part of this, what does it look like to say to be a Serra Club member and be a part of this ministry?
Yeah, I became a member probably in the 2013, 2012 era, and then one of my first duties that they asked out of me was if I could help out with the priest appreciation. My wife and I could help out with the priest appreciation picnic. That was a huge role because it's such one of our main events of the year. And so we took that on really with a serious role. And then it kind of fed me into becoming a member, onto the board of trustees, then eventually become the president of the St. Serra Club of Des Moines. And that was my journey. And that's what a lot of people's journeys have been. They come into the role. Unfortunately, when we look at doing a youth movement, our youth movement is that 50 to 55-year-old age into the St. Serra Club. But it's really a good organization. It's not a lot of heavy lifting. It's not a lot of hard work. But it's very rewarding. It's a rewarding role to be a member of the St. Serra Club of Des Moines. And we just heard last fall that we're the second largest club in the world, and that's in
the world.
Yeah, in the world.
Oh,
and
wow!
So that's something that we're very proud of, because that means that we've been out talking about it and getting recognition for our seminarians, for our priests, for our sisters, for our deacons. And so we're there to support all of our religious life in the Des Moines area.
Well, I think maybe, when people go like, support priests or support religious, what does that look like? But part of that is just, of course, we want well-educated priests, well-educated religious, folks. And that's one of the sort of things that Catholicism worldwide, but particularly in the United States, that we want to make sure to do. And, of course, education is very expensive when it comes to the United States. So, that starts to play into this role, right, about the sort of holistic way that Serra Club hopes to support priests and religious.
Right. We do a program called Serra Speaks, and we'll be trying that next month here at St. Pius. It's just that we go into the parishes and let them know what the St. Serra Club of Des Moines is doing for members of your parish. Mm-hmm. And so that, it is obviously helped maybe some of the people be aware that they have somebody in the seminary from their parish. And so it's always just more awareness is always good.
So, we're getting here to the end. The website to find out more is dmserra.com, and Serra is 2 R's, so
right.
dmserra.com. But what are things coming up that people can maybe, obviously the picnic at some point, but maybe if people are interested about getting involved, what's going on here coming up soon with the Serra Club?
So next month, May 21st, we have one of our holy happy hours, which will be at St. Pius. And what it is it's we'll have a speaker come in. We start out with Mass at 5:15 there at Father Larry Hoffman is our team chaplain. He puts on the Mass. We do a daily Mass, and then we go into a social hour and then into our speaker. And so it usually lasts till about 8 o'clock. But that's an event that is not a member only. Mm-hmm. That is, anybody can come to that, and there's no fee to come. It's free will giving if you want to give something. But it's a really good opportunity to see what the St. Serra Club of Des Moines is all about. Talk to some of our trustees, talk to some of our members. So it's a good good time.
Well, when it comes to praying for priests, before we let you go, what is that you usually ask of your members, but even people who are just interested in your guys' charism? What's the sort of praying for priests? What does that look like for people who want to get involved?
So we have our 31 Club, which is the obviously the month of 30, month with 31 days. But we have on that calendar the 4 or 5 different priests that day that are being prayed for. So it's daily praying for that. We have the 7 Serrans where we're praying for our vocational directors. So we have different ways, and then we have obviously the seminarians that we pray for. And so it's just a good way to hop in and we all can pray. We can't have enough prayers for us, and we can't have enough prayers for our priests and our seminarians and all of our religious life. Yeah,
absolutely beautiful. A wonderful work. And if folks are interested, one more time, the website is dmserra.com, dmserra.com. And so May coming up, various things that they can find out there, ways to get involved too, especially in this month of April, where Pope Leo has highlighted priests, particularly in his prayer intentions, a beautiful thing to consider. David, Pieper, Serra Club, thank you for coming on the Catholic Morning Show. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Listen to the Catholic Morning Show weekdays at 7 a.m. Central on the Iowa Catholic Radio Network, iowacatholicradio.com, or the Iowa Catholic Radio app.